Hello and welcome to our next lecture. This is about the object-oriented programming. So what are the object-oriented programming is? It is totally focused on creating an objects or creating objects. So what are the objects? Objects in the journal, we can say that anything uh, that we may touch, feel and manipulate. That are the object in general wording. But in the software development, a thing, a tangible thing that contains some data to represent the characteristics of the tangible things, and it has some behavior like a method or function to manipulate the data of that particular tangible thing. So what does this mean? For that there is a concept comes over here. What are the, as we discuss the objects, but over here the concept is comes that is called class. So what is the class? It is nothing. Class is a blueprint of an object. It has a collection of variables, or maybe the single variable in it, or it is has a different method, or it can have different method, or maybe one method that is associated with the object. And let me actually write the syntax of the class. Very simple. The keyword class, then the name of your class, and it can be anything like a test ABC, but I'm creating a class for the customer, CUSTUMAR, then colon. So it is a good practice if you start with the name. The name of the class start with the capital letter. The first letter must be capital. It is a good approach. Like class and customer, I have written a C in a capital, and I'm just passing. This is the syntax for the class. So what is the object? Object, as I said, we already discussed, it is a thing that in which we can manipulate something or have some data in it. So the object is the uh, uh, the class represents the objects, and objects represent the class. What actually this means? Suppose let's start with the declaring some built-in functionality over here. Suppose I'm just creating a name, right? I'm assigning the default value, and suppose age like a 29. So I'm coming out the class, and naming it C is equal to customer. Here is the C is an object of the class. The C is the object of a class customer. If we come over here, C dot, it has age and name. These two are the properties, right? If I do write here def like a print, suppose, or display name, just let me write it, display name. It take, I'm writing the self and print name, but it is showing me the error because it must be like in this way, self dot name. And C dot display name, what is this? This is a method. As we have discussed in our previous lecture, the difference between the functions and methods. The function is something else we already discussed. If you guys are not know what actually the function is, please watch my previous video. So this is a method, so it will display the default value. So this is a behavior actually. But in the customer can sleep, customer can order something. We can say that the discount on the customer, or like a bank account of the customer. These all things can be the behavior of the customer. That actually depends on association with the customer. So the another thing is that I can directly access the name and age. How about if I do not want to display the age of the customer? right? How can I achieve that? So over here the concept comes that is called encapsulation. Encapsulation is object oriented term. This is just consider it like to hide something through to hide something to access out of the class. If we want to elaborate in a proper way, encapsulation is a process to prevent or protection or to outside the class, provide the attributes or provide the attributes to inaccessible. Suppose this is a name, and if I want to make it, the both are public right now. We can access over the class. But if I do not want to use this age outside of this class, like over here I create object of C. Actually, this is the instance of the object and the customer class. I want to revoke or I want to hide this age through the outside the class. How can I do that? We can just double underscore. We can have double underscore on the any variable or on the any method. So we can see the C dot age. It is not here. If I just remove this C dot age, you can see that this age is belong to this. But if I do add double underscore, this is a private or an encapsulation. You can see the customer object has not attribute age, right? So this is the encapsulation. So the another thing is over here the called accessor and mutator method. Accessor and mutator method. So the concept comes over here. I want to change the name of the customer. How can I achieve that? The concept comes over here. Let me actually, okay, let's leave it as it is. F and name this and age self dot age. Let me actually run this. Now you can see that we have the default name is default and age is 19, but we have hard coded the age in 29, but I want to change the age. So there is a one option. We can go over here every time and do change the age, but this is not. If we do such kind of things, then what does the mean of using OOP concepts or OOPing? So to set or get the value of the private method or sorry, for the private property, we use a method comes like a mutator. I'm just making it def like a method name. I'm saying it set age self and age and over here I'm just making it self dot underscore age is equal to age, right? This is a mutator. We can set the value of any variable or any any private variable, and this is actually the state to change or to update the state of the object. If we want to make the definition of what is the mutator, it is in simple wording, to update the state of an object is called mutator. And suppose I want to set C dot set age. Here it is. I want to change 30. Again running the code. Now you can see that the default name is, as I did not set the name, but I do change only the age. This is called the mutator. So the another concept comes over here that is called accessor. and I want to set that set get age self, and we can just simply return self dot underscore age. We can check that c dot get age. Let me actually name of anything over here. Age, I'm declaring the name of age, a variable, and I'm just printing age. Now you can see that I can get the age of a customer. So this is called, let me actually make it, the name for that is Mutator, right? And this is called Accessor. CESS4. So these are the two concepts about the Mutator and Accessor. So this is more interesting thing, underscore new and init. So you can see that we have set the sum value using this way, Mutator and by Accessor. So how about if we want to change something over here with the default value, or we can change something via the constructor of the class. Let me actually define something over here, underscore new. This is a built-in function and it takes a CLS, and I'm just printing that new is created, new is being created, right? And it returns super dot underscore new underscore CLS, this class. And okay, that is done. When I do run this, you can see that this is by default executed, underscore new, right? So let me write another thing, def underscore init, right? It is taking self, right? Let me actually print something for this. Init is being created, or being whatever you want to name, print. Init is being created. So the both are working. So why we use the both like the class, sorry, the new and init? If we can achieve the both thing on the same method, then why we are using sorry, we can achieve the same thing for the two different methods. Why we are using the two different things? So the concept over here is comes, let's actually define these two things. What is the new and what is an init? The new meaning that create a new instance of object. It create the new instance of this object. And what is the meaning of init? The init is initialize the value or initialize the state of the current class or current object. This will initialize the state of the current object, and this is for creating the temporary object, or for creating the empty object. Actually, let's make it name and age, right? I'm trying to run. You can see that the init is accessing two missing arguments. but new is not doing any kind of error. New is being created. You can see that. Actually, let's change over here. The name is suppose, and this is a parameter. Let's change actually the self dot name. This is the name actually, this one, and this is the parameter is equal to name, right? And another thing is that self dot age, that is actually underscore age, is equal to age. The customer, I'm entering the name Anjum, and JUM Anjum, and doing the age with 29 or 30, whatever. And I'm removing the both things. C dot, let's display the name. Display name. By the way, the method name must be different, as we are doing the displaying or printing the name and age, but right now it is the display name. Let it be as it is. Now check. What it is saying. New takes one positional argument, but 3 were given. Let's actually remove this first. Now it has, you can see that the initialize the value for this variable. It has updated the value for name and age. So this is about the initialize, and the another thing that is called the new, as I have discussed. The new works only for so when I do run this, it is throwing me that new argument taking one position argument, but were 3. So to tackle this thing, we have to pass a static argument or anything. No, this is not creating any kind of problem. So why we use a new and initialize? So the actually new is a static method. We use the new method, as I said, this create empty object of a class. So when we want to use a singleton pattern, want a single class for the application, we can use a new, and as I said, init is just to initialize the state, or to initialize the state of the object, we use init. So the another thing is that how we can make a method like we have discussed only the double underscore age. This is a private value. We can make a method as a private. Actually, this double underscore init is a private, and same like double score and underscore new is, this is also a private, but we can write our own private method like a def, maybe anything, like let me write it anything, self, and pass, let it pass. So this will, what it is saying, does not know here. So over here, like we can display the this, but if we want to check that c dot anything, like we have already updated underscore anything, now you can see that this method is not accessible outside the class. So this is about to the basic concept of the class, then their constructor, then the encapsulation, and we have discussed the mutator, then accessor, and objects. So in our next video we will discuss the inheritance, and some other stuff in about to the object-oriented programming. And after that we will go to maybe to connect with the databases.